was also the first president to get married in office, though his 8 children from his first wife did not approve of the wedding and did not attend. 39. Ronald Wilson Reagan won the Most Nearly Perfect Male Figure Award from the University of California in 1940. 40. Thomas Jefferson had a family of plants named after him, Jeffersonia diffila, which is also known as twin root or rheumatism root. 41. Thomas Jefferson wrote The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth, which was discovered after his death by his daughter. It argues that Jesus Christ was a great thinker, but that he was devoid of other worldly qualities that made him the center of Christianity. 42. James Madison was the shortest president of the United States, standing at only 5'4". He never weighed more than 100 pounds. 43. George Washington made the shortest inauguration speech on record, 133 words and less than 2 minutes long. 44. William Henry Harrison holds the record for the longest inauguration speech in history at 8,578 words long and 1 hour and 40 minutes. Unfortunately, he gave the speech during bad weather, and a month later he was dead from pneumonia, making his the shortest presidency on record. 45. George Washington, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Polk, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Taft, Warren Harding, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Lyndon Johnson, and Gerald Ford were all Masons, many symbols which are found on American currency. 46. The body of John Scott Harrison, the father of President Benjamin Harrison, was stolen by grave robbers and sold to Ohio Medical College in Cincinnati for use as a training cadaver. The body was eventually recovered and reburied. 47. Gerald Rudolph Ford's name before he was adopted was Leslie Lynch King Jr. 48. The youngest president was Teddy Roosevelt, who became president at age 42 when McKinley was assassinated. JFK was the youngest president elected at age 43. 49. As a young man, Rutherford Bichard Hayes fought lissophobia, or the fear of going insane. 50. 3 presidents died on July 4th: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Monroe. Calvin Coolidge is the only president to have been born on the 4th. 51. George Herbert Walker Bush is the only president with 4 names. Okay, maybe so. All right. 52. James Garfield could write Latin with one hand and Greek with the other hand simultaneously. Wow. That's awesome. 53. The best known Western names in China are Jesus Christ, Elvis Presley, and Richard Nixon. 54. John Quincy Adams would often skinny dip in the Potomac River. 1926 duel with another bullet in his arm from a barroom fight in 1813 with Missouri Senator Thomas Hart Benton. 58. Herbert Hoover was an orphan whose first job was picking bugs off potato plants, for which he was paid $1 per 100 bugs. He was also a mine worker. 59. Gerald Ford worked as a model during college. He also worked as a forest ranger at Yellowstone National Park, directing traffic and feeding the bears. 60. In 1945, Congress voted to commemorate the work FDR did for the March of Dimes by putting his profile on the coin. 61. Abraham Lincoln was the first president to ever be photographed at his inauguration. In the photo, he is standing near John Wilkes Booth, his future assassin. 62. Robert Lincoln is the only man in U.S. history known to have witnessed the assassination of 3 different presidents: his father, James Garfield, and William McKinley. After he saw anarchist Leon Silgos shoot McKinley, he vowed he would never again appear in public with an incumbent president. 63. Much has been written about Lincoln-Kennedy assassinations coincidences. Number 1, both had 7 letters in their last names. 2, both were shot in the head on a Friday seated beside their wives. 3, Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln limo, which was made by Ford. 4, Lincoln was in Box 7 at Ford's Theater, and Kennedy was in Car 7 of the Dallas motorcade. 5, both assassins had 3 names with 15 letters: John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald. 6, Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and was captured in a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy in a warehouse and was captured in a theater. 7, both were elected to the U.S. House of Representatives the first time in 1846 and 1946, were runners-up for their party's nomination in 1856 and 1956, and were elected president in 1860, 1960. Number 8, both were succeeded by Southern Democrats named Johnson. 64, an anarchist and lawyer named Charles Guiteau shot James Garfield in the back with a 5-barrel 44 caliber pistol called a British Bulldog in 1881. He said he chose the gun because it would look good on a display in a museum someday. No one currently knows where the gun is. 65. The first attempt to assassinate a president was on Andrew Jackson by Richard Lawrence, a house painter. Both of his guns misfired, however, an event that statisticians say could occur once in only 125,000 times. Andrew Jackson then chased Lawrence with his walking stick. 66.